Okie dokies. Welcome back to the channel. We got 10 greatest signature moves in NBA history. This is by Nonstop something. Nonstop Sports. Let's get into it.
Great NBA players often develop a go-to move.
Original link in the description down below. What the
Great
fuck?
NBA players often develop a go-to
Oh, that's Jabbar. Okay.
move.
Look at that. Look how straight that arc is.
Something that gives them an advantage, and that's hard to defend. Some moves, however, are more recognizable than others because they look different. They're super effective. Players use them often. With great apologies to George Gervin, who just missed the cut with his finger roll, we chose these top 10 signature moves in basketball history.
Okay.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Yeah, hook.
Sky Hook. When you're the tallest person on the court with the longest wingspan, and you can release the ball from your hand at the
Like, he just does it so often. Wow. Freaking Asia, this guy.
Longest wingspan, and you can release the ball from your hand at the highest point. You get a shot that can hardly ever be blocked. Many have tried, and many have failed. Only Wilt Chamberlain managed to block it on 2 occasions, but Kareem's skyhook was largely unguardable. There was just no point in trying to stop it.
Wilt actually blocked that?
Close to the guy and hope he misses, and he didn't miss much. Kareem's skyhook was so effective that it earned the unofficial title of the most unguardable move in NBA history. And the numbers back it up, because Kareem has scored more points in the NBA than anyone ever, and the vast majority of them came via his patented signature move.
That's crazy.
He often played with older competition as a kid, and that was the only shot he could shoot that didn't get smashed back in his face. Once he grew the way he did, it was over. When great skills meet excellent physical tools, that's when you get dominance. And that's precisely what Kareem did, on all levels. He was the most dominant high school and college player ever, winning 4 high school state championships and 3 NCAA titles with UCLA. To that, he added 6 NBA rings, along with 6 MVPs.
That was a freak, man.
Skyhook is the main reason for it. Hakeem Olajuwon.
How tall was he? He must have been very tall. They said he was the tallest on the court. Plus that, and the little jump, you ain't blocking that.
Hakeem Olajuwon
you ain't even jumping
that. The best players of his generation, and one of the
who?
Dream Shake.
Oh yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the best players of his generation and one of the greatest centers of all time. He was extremely nimble and graceful with his moves.
Yeah, he was.
And was the only center
I thought I ever saw him play. I saw highlights.
The moves that were usually reserved for guards. Crossovers and pull-up jumpers were regularly on the menu in Olajuwon's basketball kitchen. But it was one move that he perfected and made famous that was deadliest of all: the Dream Shake. Dream Shake consists of pivoting to one side and then quickly counter-pivoting to the other to shake off your opponent and have a free look at the basket. However, that's easier said than done, and nobody did it like Hakeem, aka the Dream. Yes, the move was so good that his creator got nicknamed after it. Hakeem is known to hold basketball camps where he teaches the Dream Shake and other post moves to current players, most notably LeBron James and Dwight Howard, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. The fadeaway.
The fadeaway, yes,
sir. Kareem used his height and length to create an unstoppable move. Michael used his unmatched leaping ability and superb footwork to create one of his own. The move was the fadeaway, and it drove defenders crazy and led them to despair. It was hard to guard Michael anyway, but just when a defender thought he had done a great job and cut all of his lanes, Jordan would simply jump backwards to create space and shoot after the defender fell down. And when your nickname is Air Jordan, that would happen every single time. While Jordan was tormenting the entire league, there was another 6'6" shooting guard who watched him and tried to make his technique as flawless as Jordan's. Kobe Bryant was often called the second coming of Michael Jordan because of the obvious similarities between them. They played the same position, had similar size.
Bro.
Because of the obvious similarities between
them.
They played the
same height, same position,
had
same
similar size.
They played against each other at the same time.
Mentality. And their moves, including the fadeaway,
same move,
identical. Looks of despair of their opponents were pretty similar too. Black Tornado, Shaquille O'Neal. When the question of who's the most dominant brute force that ever stepped on the NBA court, there could only be one answer: the Diesel, Superman, the Big Aristotle. Okay, those are several names, but they are all nicknames of one man.
There's a lot more.
O'Neal. Shaq came to the NBA weighing less than 300 pounds and was successful even then. But in his prime, he was around 350 of pure muscle and vicious force that would dunk anything thrown his way. But there were other heavy centers in the league who weren't even effective, let alone dominant.
Yeah,
What set Shaq apart? There were other heavy
what
centers.
What is that thing?
In
Ew.
the league who weren't even effective, let alone dominant. What set Shaq apart was his agility and quickness. And in his prime, he was the best player in the league.
Yeah,
Shaq's favorite
easily.
move was to post up and lean on a defender with all his mass. And then, as the defender was using all his strength and focus just to stay in place, Shaq would spin off of him and dunk the ball.
No, Shaq went into them. Wow.
Shaq would spin off of him and dunk the ball. He named this move the Black Tornado because he would spin around so fast with great power, and it was deadly for the opponents. Shaq was a skilled post player, and as we said before, great skill and great physical gifts equaled domination. And Shaq was arguably the most dominant player ever.
Easily.
Euro step. Manu Ginobili. Some
Manu
basketball moves already exist, but then certain players make them famous. That was the case with Manu Ginobili and the Euro step. Euro step was a move frequently used in, you guessed it, Europe, mainly in former Yugoslavia. It was first seen in the NBA in the early 90s, when one of the first European newcomers, Lithuanian Šarūnas Marčiulionis, started using it. When Manu came from Europe in the early 2000s, he dazzled with his flair, no-look passes, and deceptive athleticism. But it was the Euro step that took the league by storm, because Manu would burn defender after defender by simply stepping around them and make one uncontested layup after another.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
when the move got dubbed the Euro step. Even though Ginobili...
Bro, I'm getting goosebumps. I remember watching this like so much and seeing the Euro.
After Manu, there have been many successful Euro step practitioners and aficionados in the NBA, with James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo at the forefront.
DeRozan.
Tim Hardaway, and Allen Iverson. Crossover is a move that every guard in the world uses. From the first time they start playing organized basketball, it's a fundamental move, yet so effective, and that's why every young player wants to have it in their arsenal. And even though everyone has a crossover, the move is usually tied up to two people whose crossovers were so dominant that it became their signature move. Tim Hardaway and Allen Iverson. Despite the move was the same, these two players have done it differently. Hardaway's was tighter, and he went into the move more quickly than Iverson. Iverson, on the other hand, made his...
Iverson was looking to drop your ass. Tim Hardaway was just trying to score a bucket. Iverson was a street baller, bro.
He had a long wingspan, and he would move the ball from one stretched arm to the other to lull the defender, which is best seen on the famous Jordan crossover. Despite the differences in styles, results were usually the same.
You're on your ass.
Stuck, or even worse, with broken ankles. Single-legged fadeaway. Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk's single-legged fadeaway was unstoppable.
Dirk was a freak, bro.
Prime. Dirk is a 7-footer and one of the best shooters in NBA history. However, he was also one of the least athletic players, and he wouldn't be as effective if he hadn't trained with Holger Geschwindner, a German coach who trained him throughout his career and who taught him his signature move. Because he lacked athleticism, he couldn't jump backward and shoot a fadeaway like Kobe and MJ did. Instead, Dirk simply leaned away and used his height to shoot over the defender. With his pivot leg,
oh, that was a clean picture.
Away and used
Look at that pick.
Shoot over the defender. With his pivot leg serving for balance and the separation he needed to take the shot off. That signature move single-handedly, or single-leggedly if you will, helped Dirk to become one of the best scorers in the history of the game, with over 30,000 points. Unlike some other players on this list who just made standard moves famous, single-legged fadeaway was never seen before Dirk, and never successfully replicated after it, which makes it even more unique.
7-foot shooting.
Steph Curry. Steph Curry, along with his splash brother Klay Thompson, changed the game of basketball forever. Before them, it was widely considered that jump shooting teams couldn't win championships, with Charles Barkley as a spiritual leader of that school of thought. But then Steph Curry and the Warriors won the title.
Yeah, bro. Wow.
In 2015.
Then everyone just went.
Steph and Klay averaging more than 15 attempts from deep combined. Steph in particular was an unsolvable mystery for opposing defenses.
Bro, you just
because he would often attempt and make deep threes from 30 feet or more, well behind the three-point line. His long-range shooting prowess forced defenses to
look
pick
how
him up
deep he is, bro.
Court, and his constant movement created more.
Like you gotta guard him like 24/7 or it's a wrap.
It was the birth of the pace and space era.
Look at
in the
this.
NBA, and it all started with Steph and his signature shots from deep. Bank shot.
But I don't think anyone's gonna have another shot like
Tim Duncan.
Steph though in a while.
Because on the Wii, the bank shot never works.
Yeah, well, you should return it and get a Wii fund.
Just like Kevin James scientifically explained, Tim Duncan was the master of the bank shot.
Remember that time he did that bank shot and like
One of the
bricked?
NBA's most quiet and unassuming superstars. He was nicknamed the Big Fundamental because he did everything fundamentally sound, and he wouldn't do and say anything too flashy. While the bank shot was rarely used by anyone else, Tim Duncan perfected it because it provided an extra angle he could use when the defender had a hand in his face, trying to block Timmy from shooting straight to the basket. So, Duncan just shot slightly to the left or right and used the glass to bounce the ball to the hoop. The shot itself isn't sexy, it's not that cool, and often looks awkward, which was the essence of Tim Duncan himself. And that's what made it a perfect match.
I want to watch some Tim Duncan highlights.
Step back. James Harden. We saved the most controversial move on the list for last. James Harden's step back caused a lot of stir in the NBA circles when the Beards started using it frequently. How is that not a travel, everyone asked themselves. James Harden made a
Actually, wait, what?
using it frequently. How is that not a travel, everyone asked themselves. James Harden made a career of exploiting the rules and pushing the boundaries of basketball trickery. When he drives to the basket, he often tangles his arms with the defenders to draw a foul. He flails, baits, and throws his body to make and-one opportunities. And he created one of the most unguardable moves in modern basketball, the step back. Harden's step back looks like he stepped back twice, but according to the rulebook, it's not a travel because he catches the ball after the first step back. So the second step is legal. It's incredible.
What?
He catches the ball, step back twice.
What?
Basketball, the step back. Harden's step back looks like he stepped back twice, but according to the rulebook, it's not a travel because he catches the ball after the first step back. So the second step is legal. It's incredibly tough to pull off, but Harden can do it consistently and create separation from a defender anytime he wants. You may not like it, but you have to accept James's
I
brilliance.
don't get it. That's
His
crazy.
scoring numbers speak for themselves anyway.
Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up. If you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Deuces.